There's a delicious irony unfolding in Nigerian politics right now, and if you are not paying attention, you are missing one of the most spectacular political chess of this decade. At the center of it all are the players Seyi Makinde, governor of Oyo State, and the current minister of the FCT, Wike. This is how it all played out. On 18th of November 2025, Wike, the man who once walked through Nigerian politics like he owned every corridor, every office, every soul, pull up to the PdP secretariat with his faction. The same Wike who had made a career out of intimidation, who famously boasted about his political prowess, who destroyed careers with the snap of his finger. This political heavyweight arrived at the PdP secretariat and didn't even have the courage to step out of his car. He sat there, windows probably rolled up, wall hinges as Seyi Makinde and Bala Mohammed chased his faction away like stray dogs. Let that image settle in your mind for a moment. Wike hiding in his car and also sneaking out. The man who once described politics as a warfare was forced to retreat without firing a single shot, and the general commanding the forces that sent him packing is none other person but Seyi Makinde, the same man who was an ally to Wike, the same man that was among the G5 governors, the same man Wike called quiet but dangerous. Wike didn't know how prophetic his own words would become. Let's rewind the tape to 2023. Remember the G5 governors? Those 5 renegades who decided that loyalty to PdP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar was optional. Wike was the ringleader. He was loud and the one giving press conferences and making threats. And right there beside him, almost like a shadow, was Seyi Makinde. They were everywhere together, every meeting, every strategy session, every photo opportunity, brothers in rebellion, partners in what every Nigerian now see as political sabotage that helped install Bala Tinubu as president. Nigerians were furious with the G5. They called them traitors, saboteurs, and power-drunk despots who put personal ambition above national interest. The hunger was hot, visceral, unforgiving. But here is where the story gets interesting. While Wike went all in on his gamble, collecting his 30 pieces of silver in form of a ministerial appointment as FCT minister, maintaining his rebellious posture, trying to control PdP from outside while serving in an APC government, Makinde did something unexpected. He quietly stepped back, no fanfare, no dramatic press release. He simply returned to Oyo State and did the unthinkable in Nigeria politics. He actually focused on governance. This is where Makinde political genius becomes apparent and why he might just be the smartest operator in Nigerian politics right now. While Nigerians continue to spite venom on Wike's name, why social media explode with anger every time the FCT minister demolish another property or makes another tone-deaf statement, something fascinating has happened to the public perception of Seyi Makinde. The same Nigerians who should be equally angry with him are now singing his praises. How did he pull this off? Simple. He understood something Wike's ego couldn't grasp. In politics, knowing when to retreat is as important as knowing when to attack. He understood Nigerians have short memories, but only when you give them reasons to forget. So while Wike continues to be Wike, loud, confrontational, everywhere at once. Makinde became a geese. He disappeared into governance, launching projects, commissioning roads, improving healthcare, making Oyo State work. And then when the dust settled, when Nigerians started to separate the G5 governors in their minds, they began to ask, wait, what is Makinde doing and where is he now? And that is when he made his move. Now here is the comedic tragedy of this entire situation. Wike is watching Makinde execute exact same playbook that made Wike himself a political force after the 2015 general elections. Remember that period when PdP was in shambles after losing power for the first time, when key figures defected to APC like rats abandoning the PdP to become a sinking ship. Who stood tall and became the face of PdP resistance? It was Wike. He positioned himself as the party savior, his financier, his backbone. He rebuilt structures, funded campaigns, and installed loyalists. He made himself indispensable. That was supposed to be his legacy, the man who saved PdP. But ambition is a dangerous drug and Wike overdosed it. He wanted more than just influence. He wanted absolute control. When he didn't get the presidential ticket, when he wasn't chosen as running mate to Atiku Abubakar, he burned down everything he built. He became the arsonist instead of the architect. Now here enter Makinde. Picked up the tools Wike abandoned. Makinde is now doing in 2024 to 2025 what Wike did in 2015 to 2016. But with one crucial difference, he's doing it with great humility instead of arrogance, with strategy instead of tantrums, and with inclusion instead of intimidation. The recent PdP National Convention in Abuja wasn't just an event, it was a statement. It was marking the planting of his flag and declaring, "This is my territory and I will defend the party here." The PdP planned her national convention in Ibadan, the state where Makinde is the governor. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a strategic move by Governor Makinde to ensure that he oversees everything that happened in that convention. Wike tried everything to stop it: court cases, injunctions, backroom deals, political pressure, the full arsenal of tactics that had worked for him countless times before. They all failed. Makinde navigated every legal landmine, maneuvered every obstacles, and a convention held in Ibadan on Makinde's stuff, under Makinde's watch, with Makinde as the implicit host and protector. The symbolism was not lost on anyone paying attention. The student has just learned from the master. He has surpassed him. Wike, watching from Abuja, must have felt something he's not accustomed to. The realization that his power has limits, that his tactics don't work on someone who understands intimately because they once stood side by side. Wike's description of Makinde as quiet but dangerous was meant as a compliment back when they were allies. Now he reads like a horror movie. He doesn't need to threaten people publicly or humiliate opponents on camera. He operates in silence, and by the time you realize his move against you is already too late and dangerous, as Wike is discovering now. That the soft-spoken governor from Oyo systematically dismantling his influence in PdP, one chess move at a time. Makinde isn't using Wike's tactics of brute force and intimidation. He's using something far more effective, which is competence, strategic patience, and the ability to make allies instead of enemies. While Wike has burned bridges across political landscape, alienating former friends, creating enemies in both the PDP and APC, making himself toxic to work with, Makinde has been building bridges. He has cultivated relationships with governors across party lines. He's maintained respect even from his critics. He has shown that you can be strong without being a bully. But that doesn't mean that he cannot be a bully when it is needed. That's the reason he bullied Wike and his factions when he tried to invade the PdP secretariat. What's happening between Makinde and Wike is bigger than two politicians settling scores. It's a battle for the souls and future direction of Nigerian politics. Wike represents the old guard politics as warfare, governance as vengeance. He represents the strongman tradition where might makes right, where the loudest voice wins, where fear is a primary tool of control. Makinde represents something different, not necessarily new but different. He represents the possibility that competence trumps chaos, that strategy can defeat brute force, that you can be powerful without being destructive. If Makinde succeeds in excommunicating Wike from the PDP and rendering him politically irrelevant and is well on his way, it sends a message to every aspiring politician in Nigeria that the old playbook is outdated. The Wike model of governance, of the idea that you can rule by intimidation alone, that you can burn everything down when you don't get your way, that model has an expiration date and we might be watching it expire in real time. The beautiful, almost poetic irony of this situation is that Wike is being destroyed by his own creation. He groomed Makinde in a sense. They plotted together, strategized together, rebelled together. Makinde watched and learned from one of the most ruthless operators in Nigerian politics. He saw what worked and what didn't. He understood the strengths and crucially the weaknesses in Wike's approach. And now he's using that knowledge to systematically destroy Wike's political empire. Wike spent years telling anyone who will listen that he's the master strategist, that he understands power, and that he's indispensable to Nigerian politics. And now he's discovering that he trained someone who learned all his tricks and added a few improvements. The man who couldn't step out of his car on 18th of November at the PDP secretariat is the man who once bragged that he can destabilize any political structure in Nigeria. He warned PDP governor and told them that he would set their state on fire. As we watch this political drama unfold, and trust me, it's better than anything Nollywood could script, I am left wondering what happens when Makinde fully consolidates power and his position in the PDP. Does he become the new power broker, or does he run for the presidency in 2027 or 2031? Does he transform the PDP into a genuinely competitive party again? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, Seyi Makinde has become a force to reckon with.